Hi everybody, my name is Bree and welcome back to my channel, Bree's Arts. All right, you guys, so for today's video, we are doing some Christmas Kirkland inspired DIYs. One of the projects that I've done today is very, very similar to the original, but the other two, I definitely put my own spin on it, used colors that I'm using for Christmas this year, which would be more of a neutral woodsy kind of look. So they're more inspired than they are dupes. Now, of course, as always, I am using mostly Dollar Tree items, some items from Dollarama, and with that being said, you guys, let's jump into the first DIY. Okay, here we go, DIY number 1. So look at this beautiful piece of wall art from Kirkland's. It's 23 bucks. And what I did here is I am using these wood planks that I got from Amazon, painting one white, one Java, and one castle. Bam! Just like that. And what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to sand these down just a little bit, just to bring out the edges, rough them up a little bit, give them some depth and dimension. And with those ragged edges too, it just looks awesome after it's all sanded. You see there? Love it. And here I didn't show it, but what I did is I took my moss green color from Waverly and I made 3 different colors of green. So you can see there on the plate, there's one that's a little bit lighter, and the one, like the lightest one, is what I used as my base color there. So I painted that plank up, and you can see here I'm using my painter's tape, or I guess it's masking tape, and just putting some stripes along using a little piece as a spacer. And here I'm going to just use that medium green color and fill in those stripes. So easy, you guys. We're gonna do this gingham pattern. So just removing that. And then I'm going to go vertically as well down all of the length of this plank here. And again, just using a little piece of tape as a spacer, going all the way down and putting my stripes the other way. And there we go. Making sure that all my edges are down nice and solid. And then using that same medium green color, just going along and painting in the spaces there. And just blasting that with my heat gun. It's so amazing. Did you see how the color changed? This green is very, very deceiving. The dry color is very different than what the wet color is. It's so pretty. What a pretty color, hey? And so here I just went over my original lines, and I'm just going to take the actual moss color, like the darkest color there, and go over in the squares of my gingham pattern. And you see again, it just magically changes color. It's amazing watching this back, you guys. And then here is my favorite part, removing the tape, and look at those beautiful crisp lines. Oh, it worked out so well. And you know, if you have a few bleeds and whatnot, which I did have, you can just go over with your different colors and stuff with a really fine detailed brush and fix those up, no problem. So here I'm just arranging my planks to how I want them. And I cut these decals out on my Cricut. So this one says, "Merry be your Christmas." The next one says, peaceful be your home. And I will try to have the fonts down in the description box. You guys, I'm terrible with fonts. I'm terrible with remembering them. I'm so sorry. Joyful be your family. And then I had to, for the last one, because it's white, I cut out a stencil with my 813 stencil vinyl. And here I'm just going to use my moss color with my Debbie brush and just fill in that stencil. And it says, blessed be each one, or blessed, whichever way you want to say it. And I learned a trick, you guys. I don't know why I haven't been doing this from the beginning, but I take out the smallest parts, like all of the holes and stuff of the letters first, while the paint is still wet. And it's just easier this way instead of fiddling with it with the wet paint around it. And then I just take out the remainder of the stencil, and voila. All right, so here is where my measuring mat comes into play. This is absolutely awesome. So I just flip them all over, and I'm taking a piece of twine, and you can see I'm lining my glue up with one of my lines there on my measuring mat, and then keeping them straight along the measuring mat. And then once everything is all done and the glue is all dried and you use your hanger, then everything is nice and straight. This is definitely the way to do it. If you guys have a measuring mat, I got mine on Amazon, so you can absolutely check them out. I'll try to link it down in the description box, the measuring mat that I got. And then you can see there I'm going along again, down the other side where that line is, making sure everything is nice and straight on the horizontal lines. You see, just like that. And just gluing that down. And then of course cutting off the excess. Oh, not quite yet. Just throwing a little bit more hot glue just for stability. This is really light though, you guys. Like, these wooden planks are super, super light. And there it is, all done. Oh my goodness, I love, love, love how this turned out. Okay, so the original piece was $23. I did mine for $2.50. All right, you guys, I hope that you're enjoying these Kirkland inspired DIYs. I just wanted to pop in here really quickly just to send a huge thank you and a big shout out to all of my subscribers. You guys are amazing, seriously. And if it wasn't for you, I would not be here. So thank you so much for watching my videos, for tapping that like button, for subscribing to my channel, and of course for all of your amazing comments. I appreciate you guys so much. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. And, you know, with that being said, let's just get back into those DIYs. Okay, here we go. DIY number 2. So this piece, this is definitely an inspired by. I totally switched this up here. Mostly because I couldn't find all of the letters that I needed to make that Noel sign. But here you can see I just took off a piece of this candy cane wired wreath form, I guess it is. And I'm just kind of finagling with it with my pliers to create a little hook there. And now I have a J and a Y, and we're making the word joy. And so this little plaque thing I also got from the Dollar Tree. I had to sand it up a little bit. They are rough. And then I am taking my Antique Wax by Waverly and just, giving it a coat, wiping it off with my baby wipe. And I wanted it to be a little bit darker, so I did go over it a couple of times with the Antique Wax. And all of the edges as well. There we go. And of course, give it a quick little sand, bring out all of that detail on the edges there. And so now we are going to use our Moss Green by Waverly. I absolutely love this color. This is like my theme, you guys, for Christmas this year. It's like, very, very neutral greens and browns and whites and, beige colors and whatnot. So that's kind of the theme that I'm going for in my home this year. And so I painted up those letters with my moss, and now I'm just taking my chippy brush with some white paint and just going over again, we're bringing out those edges, making it look a little bit rustic. Make sure you do both sides because this is freestanding. And all of the edges, just throw a little tiny little bit of white across it, and it completely changes the look. So now I'm just lining everything up here, and I'm just marking a little spot because I am drilling a hole right through this plank so that my little hook will stick right into it and be like super solid. So I'm just testing it out there just to make sure it's all good. And the wire is actually green, so I wanted just to throw a quick coat of my black chalk paint over top of it just to, make sure everything is all cohesive and whatnot. The green just didn't match. Okay, and so now I'm taking a little bit of hot glue and securing my hook into the hole, and it did go right through, so it was perfect. It worked out absolutely perfectly. And now I'm just putting my letters onto this plank here. Make sure they're all lined up. And now this jingle bell, I got it at the Dollar Tree, and I didn't like the top of it. Like you could see a whole bunch of hot glue on it, and it just looked really kind of nasty. So I'm just going to, make it look a heck of a lot better using other Dollar Tree items. So just using some of those little pine branches and a couple of pine cones from those vase fillers that you can get at the Dollar Tree. These kind of have like a silver edges on them. It's very, very pretty. And then I took a piece of twine there, you saw it, and just, tied a knot in it. And then I'm contemplating some ribbon, and I'm like, nah, that's gonna be too much. And now I'm just going to make a very simple bow with my jute twine, hot glue that in the center of our little jingle bell. And that's it. Like, how easy was that? It's so pretty too. And so you can see the Noel from Kirkland's is $35, and I did my joy for $5. It's so great. You guys, last Kirkland inspired DIY number 3. Now this one's gonna blow your mind. So these are $130. Now, mind you, the size is very different, and I'm only making one, but using these I guess wooden dowels from Dollarama. These are the square wooden dowels. I used the middle size there, and we're just going to create 2 boxes, use like 2 squares like that. using these wooden dowels. I just used hot glue to do this. There's a whole bunch of reinforcement that's going to happen, which you will see. If you're concerned about stability, then obviously you can use wood glue. I'm just super impatient and obviously needed to get all of this done. So I'm pretty confident that, you know, it's fairly sturdy. And there you can see that I did 2 of them. And here I'm actually going to stain all of these with my Waverly antique wax. And just going along, you know, every single nook and cranny, all of the sides, front, back, sides, you know the drill on all of those. And now here is where we are going to create our box. So again, just hot gluing the ends there onto the box. So in total, you need 12 wooden dowels for this project. And I'm sure you could use circular ones too. I don't see why not. These are just really awesome from the Dollarama. I love Dollarama, and I know that you guys down in the States that you don't have it. Things at Dollarama aren't only $1 though. Like everything is under $4. So some things, like I believe these wooden cubes are like $2.50 or something like that for that big package of them with the 3 different sizes. But man, they have amazing crafting supplies there. And so these, I guess they're garden stakes. I'm going to do the same thing, you know, just pouring my antique wax on there. Oh, and then, yes, my daughter Abby had to make an appearance. She was hanging out with me while I was crafting, so. Oh, I love her so much. So here you can see I also cut these garden stakes down with my miter shears so that they are the right size. And I'm just going to create a base for our little present box. So just going along, this will be the bottom obviously, and hot gluing all the way across. And they actually fit quite perfectly on there. And so here I'm just going to, and this is what I'm talking about a little bit more stability, is that I'm hot gluing them like these wooden stakes on each side and using my measuring mat again to make sure that I'm getting them nice and centered. And this is where our ribbon is going to sit when we're actually, you know, wrapping up our little present here. There we go. All right, and now I have these 2 different types of snowflakes. They're both from the Dollar Tree. I'm not sure, like the more intricate ones there, they might be from last year. I haven't seen them this year, I don't think, but the one that I'm painting right now, like that shape, is definitely new this year. And so I painted all of those with my moss green color, and now with, you know, my chippy brush and some white chalk paint, we are going to bring out all of those gorgeous details, and of course doing front and back. So we're going to do that to all of them and see how like they just look completely different when you put that little dry brush of white on there. I just love how they turned out. They're so pretty. All right, so this ribbon, isn't it gorgeous? I got it at Dollarama as well. And so we're just gonna hot glue that. And then once the hot glue is nice and dry, I did pull this quite tight across those painters or garden stakes, sorry. And then just hot gluing along. Now you can see on the top, I only went across with the garden stakes just one way. I didn't feel it necessary to go both ways. Again, it was mostly just for stability of the ribbon, but pulling it really nice and tight across the top, it worked out just fine. And then hot gluing it at the bottom, cutting off the excess, and doing the exact same thing on the other side. So I don't know do I show you the second? I must. There I go, doing the exact same thing that I did before. So just hot gluing all of those edges, pulling it nice and tight all the way around. And this box is super, super sturdy, you guys. It is not falling apart at all, even with just using hot glue. But like I said, if you want to use the wood glue as well, you do you. Just makes it even sturdier. See, there it is. Isn't it so pretty? And so here is where we're going to glue our little snowflakes onto the box as well. So just putting a dab of hot glue on either side and securing it on the inside. And this is why we have to paint both sides of the snowflakes, right? Because, you know, you can see right through the box. And just putting one on the kind of the top portion, one on the bottom portion, just like that. One of each shape on each side. And there we go. It's so pretty. I love it. It's so wintry. I wasn't too sure, you know, green snowflakes, but I love how this turned out. Okay, so now for the worst bow tutorial ever. I actually had to watch a bow tutorial before I did this assembly of my bow. So I just took two lengths, making my little loops there. And then I have some tails there as well, puffing everything out. And you can see there that I used a zip tie for the center. And then once you have everything all centered and good to go, tighten that zip tie up and then cut off the excess. And these jingle bells I got at Dollarama as well. This is a heavy Dollarama DIY, you guys, but I'm sure you down in the States, you can find this stuff at Hobby Lobby or Joann's. Like, you guys have way more craft stores than we do up in Canada. So hopefully you can find most of the supplies that I'm using here. But you can see there, I just tied some twine around the center of the bow, threaded it through those jingle bells, tied them in a knot, and good to go. And now I'm just dovetailing the ends of the bow here, just like that. And then I am going to use, I'm obsessed with these pine branches, you guys. Just throw a couple of pine branches onto my bow as well. Hot glue them right in there on either side, and then just, you know, kind of squish it, you smush it, you know, squishing it all together there. And then just making a very, very simple bow with some twine to put in the center. Now, I don't show it, you guys, but I do just hot glue my bow onto the top of my present here. And that is it. We are all done. So I cut that price in half on the Kirklands at $65 for one of those. I made mine for under $5. Insane. All right, everybody, that is it for our Christmas Kirkland inspired DIYs. I love how these turned out. I can't even pick a favorite. I really love this present. That joy word is gorgeous. The wall hanging is so pretty. Like, I just think they're so pretty. So why don't you guys let me know down in the comments which one is your favorite? And of course, down in the description box, I will have my Buy Me a Coffee link if you want to support my channel. Now, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. It means so much to me. Oh my goodness. I just can't say enough. And if you like what you see, do me a solid. Tap that like button, maybe subscribe, tell your friends, you know, all of that jazz. Stay tuned for the gag reel. Bye, guys. Looking snazzy. Does that make any sense? Oh, itchy nose, gosh. Ooh. So you know, I record on Sundays, and this is me like literally just getting home from church. So you get my Sunday best, you guys. What is happening now? Jeez Louise. All right, everybody, I just want to start this video off by saying, what did I make? What did I make? That one? That one. Where's the third thing? I don't remember what I made. All right. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go.